$153,000. That's the wealth gap between buying a condo and buying a house over the next 10 years using real 2026 numbers. Same city, same mortgage rate, same buyer. But here's the part that surprised me. There's one strategy where the condo actually wins on paper. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why it almost never works in real life and which choice fits your situation. If you're shopping for a home right now, you felt it. Mortgage rates are stuck around 6.5%. The median single-family house in America costs about $446,000. The median condo? Around $340,000. That's a $106,000 difference on the sticker. So the condo looks like the obvious move. Lower price, lower down payment, someone else mows the lawn. But the sticker price is where most people stop doing math. And that's exactly where the wealth gap starts. And the stakes here are enormous. For the average American household, home equity isn't just part of their net worth. It is most of their net worth. Get this one decision right, and it quietly builds wealth for decades. Get it wrong, and no budgeting app on earth will claw that money back. Quick note before we run the numbers. This video is for education only. It's not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Real estate is local, so treat these national numbers as a framework, not a prediction. We're going to follow two identical buyers for 10 years. Same income, same 20% down, same 6.6% mortgage. One buys the condo, one buys the house. Then we'll open the scoreboard. Let's start with what each of them actually pays every month, because one of these numbers is quietly rigged. Buyer 1 takes the condo at $340,000. 20% down is $68,000. The loan is $272,000, and at 6.6% over 30 years. The principal and interest payment is about $1,737 a month. But condos don't stop there. Add the HOA fee. That's the monthly charge that covers the building, the roof, the elevator, and the insurance on the structure. Nationally, condo fees commonly run $350 to $800 a month. We'll use $450. Honestly, that's being generous. Add property tax and a cheaper condo insurance policy, roughly $440 a month combined. Total for the condo, about $2,630 a month. Buyer 2 takes the house at $446,000. 20% down is $89,200. That's $21,200 more cash at closing. Remember that number. The loan payment is about $2,279 a month. No HOA. But houses have a hidden fee too. Maintenance. The rule of thumb is 1% of the home's value per year. Roofs, water heaters, gutters, that's about $370 a month. Add higher property tax and insurance around $630. Total for the house, about $3,280 a month. So the condo buyer saves $650 every single month, plus $21,200 up front. Pause and think about that. Where would you put an extra $650 a month? Hold that thought, because it becomes the plot twist later. First, here's the mistake most people make. They think the payment is the whole game. It's not. The real game is what each property is worth in 10 years. Here's the single most important sentence in this video. When you buy a house, you're buying the land under it. When you buy a condo, you're buying air inside a box, plus a small share of common hallways. And land is the part that appreciates. They're not making more of it. The structure itself actually wears out. That's why we budgeted maintenance. Land does the heavy lifting. Historically, single-family homes appreciate around 3 to 5% a year. Condos average closer to 2 to 3.5%. That sounds like a rounding error. It is not. There's a second problem. Supply. When condo prices rise in a city, developers can build another 300-unit tower next door. Every new tower competes with your unit when you sell. Nobody can build another plot of land under a house in an established neighborhood. And a third problem. Your condo's value is chained to your neighbors. If the building defers maintenance, if the HOA's insurance triples, if half the units become rentals, your unit's value drops, and you did nothing wrong. In San Francisco recently, single-family homes were appreciating over 12% a year, while condos were basically flat. Same city, same market, different asset. Here's a simple way to picture it. In a typical single-family home, roughly a quarter to a third of the price is the land itself. And in hot coastal markets, it can be more than half. That slice never needs a new roof, never gets termites, and never goes out of style. The condo owner's slice of land, a fraction of a shared parcel, split across hundreds of units, almost nothing. For our simulation, we'll use fair national averages, 4% a year for the house, 2.5% for the condo. Now let's open the 10-year scoreboard, because this is where the $153,000 shows up. 10 years later. The condo, growing at 2.5%, is worth about $435,000. The house, growing at 4%, is worth about $660,000. Both buyers have also been paying down their loans. The condo's remaining balance is about $231,000. The house's is about $303,000. So here's the equity, what you'd actually walk away with before selling costs. The condo owner, $204,000. The house owner, $357,000. That's the gap from the intro. $153,000 in 10 years from what looked like a simple lifestyle choice. And in case you're wondering, no, selling costs don't rescue the condo. If both owners sold at year 10 and paid 7% in commissions and closing costs, the house owner nets about $311,000 and the condo owner about $174,000. The gap is still six figures. The math survives the exit. And notice something uncomfortable. The house owner paid more every month, but most of that extra went into a bigger loan on a faster growing asset. The condo owner paid less, but a chunk of their payment, the HOA, built zero equity. Over 10 years, that HOA fee alone adds up to more than $70,000. Gone. It bought services, not ownership. But before I show you the one strategy where the condo fights back, there's a trap that catches both buyers, and it has nothing to do with which one you pick. Everything you've seen so far assumes you stay 10 years, but the average American homeowner moves much sooner than they plan to. New job, new baby, new city. So, what if our buyers sell at year 5 instead? First, selling isn't free. Agent commissions, closing costs, transfer taxes, typically 6 to 8% of the sale price. We'll use 7. At year 5, the condo sells for about $385,000. Pay off the remaining loan, pay the selling costs, and the owner walks away with roughly $103,000. Sounds fine, until you remember they put in $68,000 as a down payment, 5 years of ownership, and the actual gain is about $35,000. Before you count 5 years of HOA fees, the house owner walks away with about $170,000 against an $89,000 down payment, a gain of roughly $81,000. Still winning, but notice, both numbers got crushed by selling early. That's because in the first years of a mortgage, most of your payment is interest, not equity. Time in the property matters almost as much as which property you pick. Okay, 10-year scoreboard. House wins by $153,000. 5-year exit, house still wins. So, quick question. Is there any scenario where the condo comes out ahead? Type your guess in the comments, because there is one. And it's clever. Remember the condo buyer's 2 advantages? $21,200 less cash at closing and $650 less per month. What if, instead of spending it, they invested every dollar of that difference into a boring index fund, earning 8% a year? The lump sum compounds to about $47,000. The $650 a month compounds to about $119,000. Total portfolio after 10 years, roughly $166,000. Now add that to the condo equity, $204,000 plus $166,000. That's $370,000. The condo plus investing strategy just beat the house by about $13,000. Now, is 8% guaranteed? Of course not. Some decades the market does better, some it does worse. But it's a reasonable long run assumption for a diversified index fund, and even at 7%, the two strategies land within a rounding error of each other. On paper, this is a genuine tie. So, case closed, buy the condo, invest the difference, retire smug. Not so fast. This is exactly where the math on paper and real life go separate ways. Three things quietly destroy this strategy, and the first one is already in your mailbox.
Problem 1, the HOA fee doesn't stay at 450. Nationally, condo fees have been climbing far faster than inflation. In Florida, they're up 68% in just 5 years, driven by insurance costs and new reserve laws. There are real owners whose $600 monthly fee jumped past $1,300, more than doubling in a single wave of increases. They didn't buy a more expensive home. Their home got more expensive around them. If your fee grows just 6% a year, it hits $760 a month by year 10. Every increase eats directly into that $650 you were supposed to invest. Problem 2, special assessments. When a condo building needs a new roof, new elevators, or structural repairs, the HOA can bill every owner a one-time charge, $10,000, $50,000. In some Florida buildings, over $100,000 per unit.
One bad assessment in year 5 wipes out roughly $30,000 of your future portfolio. The house owner has repair bills too, but they control the timing, the contractor, and the budget. The condo owner gets a bill and a deadline. Problem 3, and it's the biggest one, the behavior gap. The strategy only works if you actually invest $650 every month for 120 months straight and never touch it. Studies on buy the cheaper thing and invest the difference strategies show most people simply don't. The money gets absorbed into lifestyle. The house, meanwhile, is forced savings. The mortgage bill arrives whether you're feeling disciplined or not. That's not a math feature. That's a psychology feature, and it's worth 6 figures. So the honest scoreboard, the condo only wins with perfect discipline and a lucky building. The house wins on autopilot. But, and this is important, that's the national picture. There are 3 real-world situations where the condo genuinely is the smarter move. Situation 1, expensive metros. In cities like San Francisco, New York, or Boston, the median house isn't $446,000. It's $1.5 million. For most buyers there, the real comparison isn't condo versus house. It's condo versus renting forever. And a condo that builds even modest equity usually beats a lifetime of rent receipts building zero. Situation 2, the first rung. A condo can be a stepping stone. Own it for 5 to 7 years, build some equity and payment history, then trade up to a house. It's not the wealth maximizing path, but it beats waiting on the sidelines while house prices compound without you. Situation 3, the numbers person. If you truly automate the investing, meaning the 650 leaves your account the same day your mortgage payment does into an index fund untouched, then the math we showed is real. It's rare, but if that's you, the condo strategy is legitimate. Notice what all 3 have in common. They only work with a healthy building. Which brings us to the final question, how do you actually decide? So which one should you buy? Here's the framework the math supports. The house builds more wealth if you'll stay 7+ years, you can truly afford the payment, and you'd rather have discipline built into your life automatically. The condo can make sense in the 3 situations we just covered, but only after you do the homework. Most buyers skip. Before signing, ask for the HOA's reserve study and check how funded it is. Below 70% is a warning sign. Read the last 2 years of board meeting minutes. Deferred repairs and insurance fights show up there long before they show up in the fee. And check the owner occupancy rate. A building full of renters usually means harder financing and softer resale. 30 minutes of reading can save you a 6-figure surprise. And renting while investing? That's a whole separate battle. And the math there surprised me even more.